Mike Pachelli here. For this lesson, I'll be talking about the Beatles recording of I Don't Want to Spoil the Party that they did in September of 1964. The song was written in a hotel during the Beatles' first U.S. tour, probably around August of '64, and it was originally written for Ringo, who was a big fan of country and western music. But the lyrics were very personal to John, so John ended up singing it. It has been said that the song was influenced by Leslie Gore's song, It's My Party. About the song, John has said, "That was a very personal one of mine. In the early days, I wrote less material than Paul because he was more competent on guitar than I. He taught me quite a lot of guitar, really." And about I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, Paul said, "I don't want to spoil the party. Sounds more like John than me, so 80-20 to him, sitting down doing a job. Certain songs were inspirational and certain songs were work. It didn't mean they were any less fun to write. It was just a craft, and this was a job to order, really, which Ringo did a good job on." Not sure if Paul meant Ringo's drumming or that he forgot John sang the song, but nevertheless. September 29, 1964, the Beatles are at EMI Studio 2 with the usual lineup, John and George on guitar, Paul on bass, Ringo on drums. And they're playing and singing live. It took them 19 takes to get the one they were satisfied with, and then they did overdubs. Now on the overdubs, John, who sang lead during the song on the high part, overdubbed himself singing the low part. So that's John singing with himself, high and low part, for the verse. And on the bridge, live, Paul sang the high part. Ringo overdubbed tambourine, and also if you listen closely, though they sang and played live, there's 3 voices doing the ooze. So either they completely overdubbed the ooze again, or somebody just stuck that third part in the middle. It should be noted that George's guitar work is just stellar. He does a great kind of Chet Atkins / Carl Perkins impersonation. And it has quite a mid boost, probably around, I'd say 450 hertz if you want to try to get the tone. The song was mixed on October 6th, and the Beatles were in attendance for that mixing session, which was quite unusual. And this may be the first time they ever did that. And that's probably why on the mono version of I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, you can actually hear all the instruments. They never performed it live or did it on BBC radio shows. It was released on the 4th of December 1964 on the British album Beatles for Sale. It was the B-side of 8 Days a Week that was released on February 15th, 65, and on an American release, Beatles 6, which was released on June 14th, 1965. So that's the backstory. Let's get started. John Lennon is playing his Gibson J160E on I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, and to do the intro, you'll need these chords. A G. You'll need a D7 suspended. You'll need an F add 9. A regular first position D chord. And there's a little move in there I'll show you momentarily, and back to a G. So it starts like this. He plays on the full G chord. And then, almost like thinking about a G without that extra D, but an F to an E on the D string, played like this. Right? Then the D7 suspended. Then the F add 9. Straight D chord. Then this little move, he plays an E and an A, adds a D, D7. Open strings, G. So nice and slow, it would sound like this. Got that? All right, then on the verses, let's see, new chord, you'll need a D7. You'll need an E minor. A B7. An A minor 7th. And those are the new chords you'll need on the verse. And it's pretty straight strumming, pretty much, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and I'll just go through it slow. Here's a verse. Verse 1 is like this. So, verse 2 is similar. Let me just do it slow for you, and you can see the chart like this. Verse 2. And then we come to the bridge. A couple of different chords. I showed you, a regular A chord you'll need on the bridge. Like that. And first position C. And that's straight D. And those are all the bridge chords. So let me play the bridge nice and slow for you. It's like this. And then you're on to verse 3. Nothing particularly mind-blowing about verse 3, so I'll just play it for you. It's like this. So on the solo, he starts on the G, pretty straight again, straightforward, like now on this D, after D7, he plays a D7, he goes to two regular Ds, and then he goes on that. Okay. Now on the E minor, there's some accents, and you should probably play the accents down strumming. So the accents are like and then the B. Same thing on the A minor. Repeat on the D7. So clearer would be. Back to the G. Second bridge, anything earth-shattering? Not really. Very simple strumming, but I'll go through it. Here's the bridge, 2. Little accent on the end of 2 on that E minor. Very Lennon-like. If he, establishes a theme, he'll repeat it a couple of times. We're to the G. Accents, no doubt to embellish the singing. And the last verse. Here, this time he goes from D to D7 instead of D7 to D. So he goes slow. To the G. And the outro's similar to the intro. It's like this. But notably, he just strums up to the D on the B string for the beginning of the outro. there's some differences you'll see there, like when he gets to the F add 9, he plays, and then kind of like a C triad, and lifts up the first finger to the D, and then gets to E, and open strings. So it would sound close to speed. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it a lot clearer, but that's what John played on I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. George Harrison is playing his Gretsch Tennessean with the mids boosted around 450 hertz. This is a Gretsch Country Classic, and I'm going through my 64 Vox AC30 and also boosted those mids. He does an absolute stellar job as a lead guitar player on this one, I feel. And for the most part, he's just like kind of barring the chords and then messing around with individual notes. And it would be painstaking if I went through every single measure and explained every measure. I have written the charts and tabs out. It's 12 pages long, exactly what George and John played, if you'd like to download those from MikePachelli.com. But at the intro, George plays this. He goes, here's a close-up of that. Now during the verse, like I said, he's probably just barring, like a bar G chord for the first 6 measures. He's doing a lot of finger picking too. Sometimes there's regular picking, alternate finger picking. So, however is comfortable for you. But if I did it real slow, a verse would sound like this. First verse sounds like this. See. That's what he plays in the first verse. Second verse, not much different as far as attitude is concerned, maybe a few different notes. And he plays like this. Second verse, 1. On the bridge, chords are going from G to E minor to A, C, D, G. E minor, A, C, D. So again, he's probably just barring the chords or voicing the chords and then getting this melody like this on the bridge. Here's the first bridge. That's what he does on the bridge. Verse 3, now on the end of that bridge, on verse 3, he's ending on a little D, and then he picks up his finger and to get the first G. So he's playing like a G and a D, and he plays. Back to the D7 raised 9 sound. On the B7, first time you just hear a little major second interval. So, he's going from E minor, probably voicing the B7, but just getting the G and the B string, to the A minor 7th. And And then the solo starts. Now in the solo, it's kind of like an open G chord to an A minor, to a F sharp, to a G. But either his fingernails or the way his pick is, you kind of just hear the G and the B string most, but it's a pickup on beat 2, so 1. All right, so you get into that and try to get the G and the B string to be a little louder. 1. And up to speed. 2, 3, 4. Interestingly, when he gets to the D chord, he first plays a D9, and then he gets the raised 9. He plays this, he goes. All right, very slowly. Then the raised 9 sound. On the E minor. Now on this B7, again, he's got that major second interval. And right here is a really mature phrasing, because he pauses, he goes. Right, so slowly from that E. Oops. Got that? Very cool. So we're bridge 2. And nothing particularly difficult, just more playing on the chords. Bridge 2 is like this. E minor to an A. He does do that, he goes on the A. C, hammers from the A. To the E minor. Really finger picking on the C because it's in the D. And he's at verse 4 now. He does something a little peculiar here on this G chord. He plays a 3rd and 5th of G, and then he plays like a suspension. He goes 1, and then up to playing around with the G chord, back to a D7 raised 9. Then he gets just a D7 sound. Then E to again with that major second sound. To the A minor. First time you hear an F sharp in the D chord. To 1. And then the outro, which is simply there's a little G and B at the end. Very first position, but very effective. Again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com would make it a lot clearer than probably what I just showed you. But I have put it together in a sound-alike so you can see how both guitar parts fit together. So have a look at this.
I don't wanna spoil the party, so I
Well, there you have it. And you gotta admit, it's such great playing by George and John when they were so young. Charts and tabs are available for you to download at mikepachelli.com, and I certainly do appreciate your consideration in supporting my work that way. And if you haven't, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you would, pass along this info to anybody that may be interested in these type of lessons. Plus, if you'd like to drop me a line, that's where to do it, mikepachelli.com. So have fun playing this great old song, and until next time, I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.